So our first adventure out to nullsec for PvP with the aid of a small bubble went way better than I could have expected. We caught a bunch of things. We only killed one of them, but even that one interceptor that we killed dropped us T2 modules, it dropped us faction modules, and it made me feel like we would be crazy not to do a little bit more of that. I've been talking about building T2 modules, but really getting them from PvP might just be easier. Now, we did lose Frida, our PvP catalyst, and we can build another catalyst. That's no problem. But we also looted that Thrasher skin, which our prey was carrying in the hold of his interceptor for no discernible reason. And we need to train Minmatar Destroyer anyways in order to train Minmatar Cruiser in order to fly a Cynabal. And Destroyer BPOs are cheap. Thrasher Blueprint, 7.5 million ISK. 200mm Autocannon 1 Blueprint, 90,000 ISK. Gyro Stabilizer 1 Blueprint, 243,000 ISK. Small Projectile Burst Aerator 1 Blueprint, 125,000 ISK. Small Projectile Collision Accelerator 1 Blueprint, 125,000 ISK. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. So while the Thrasher was in the oven, I took the catalyst out to Iridia to see if I couldn't manage to score a couple of meta small energy neutralizers, since the Thrasher has a spare high slot, only 7 turret slots, 8 high slots, perfect spot for a small newt. I did not find a single meta small newt. I did, however, have this happen. Oh, a Mordu Special Warper Unit. This is the first time we've seen one of these. Well, it warp scrammed me, so I guess we're going to find out if we can kill it. Oh. We might need heat guns here. And heat reps. Oh, yeah. More Special Warfare Unit down. Garmer Blueprint. Oh man, add it to the library. Add it to the list of things that we'd love to build. So when you find those Mordu's Special Warfare Agent rat in low-sec, the frigate rats will always, as I understand it, drop a Garmer blueprint. The cruiser rats will always drop an Orthrus blueprint, and then the battleship rats will always drop a Barghest blueprint. But all of them warp scram and web and do a ton of damage. We were able to kill that Garmer rat, but only, I think, because we heated our guns. He was really breaking our tank very quickly there. And I'm sure that if we ran into an Orthrus that we would just die. These blueprints, I think they sell for a pretty penny on contracts. They are rarer and harder to find. Yeah, 75 million. Than most of the other faction frigate blueprints. It's a bit of a kick in the teeth for Bill, but still, it's one of the many, many interesting bits of loot that you can get in low-sec and only in low-sec. Small Energy Neutralizer 1 Blueprint, 200,000 ISK. Say hello to Trevor the Thrasher. We've taken a pretty big DPS hit going from Catalyst to Thrasher, doing 206 damage per second as opposed to about 300, but man, the trade-off I think has been worth it. We've got more tank, we've got longer range, and we've got a web and a newt, which is incredible for our ability to actually catch something, hold it down, prevent it from getting away, prevent it from repping. The truth is that most things we're going to catch in our small bubble will be defenseless. But the things that we catch that aren't entirely defenseless or aren't entirely without counterplay are the most interesting captures. We caught that first interceptor and it burned away with an afterburner. We were just barely able to keep up, and we were doing so little damage because it was sitting at the edge of blaster range. If we had a web, that would have been a whole different story. And similarly, while we were talking about the 300 DPS that Frida did, being able to chew through an Astro, for example, even with 200 DPS, if we have a neutralizer, that turns off the Astro's tank pretty quickly, and then it's just game over. Overall, even though Trevor does a lot less DPS, having that extra mid slot, having that utility high, makes the Thrasher so much more attractive as a solo PvP destroyer than the Catalyst. So let's get back out to nullsec. What the heck happened here? A lot of dead Minotaur destroyers. Well, we can't loot them, and we don't want to stick around until whatever it is that killed them all returns. We ourselves are a Minotaur destroyer. 120 kilometers from gate, we are launching a bubble. The principle of what we're doing here will be exactly the same as it was in the Catalyst. Started anchoring. Oh, I forgot to bring carbon this time. I'm gonna have to jettison ammo. That's all right, I have lots of it. We didn't catch any cloaky people in our bubble last time, but the potential of catching them is absolutely worth jettisoning the cans. And now we wait. +1 on local. Corax. So far, most of the traffic in the system seems to be coming from the other direction, which is interesting. I'd sort of been assuming that in a pipe system like this, traffic in both directions would be equal. Although the more that I think about it, maybe the one direction away from high sec sees more traffic than the direction back to high sec, because people fly out to null, die, and get potted. Maybe it is the case that in a pipe like this near low sec, you want to be placing your bubble so as to catch people leaving high sec. Oh, he's coming back to land on me. All right, he wants the fight. Let's give it to him. Did he take this fight on purpose? Because it's not going to go well for him. Oh yes, look at that! Look at that! We won a 1v1 against another destroyer that was shooting at us. Great fight. Oh. Oh, Tech 1 mods. So sad, but also so joyful. Our most genuinely legitimate kill to date. He had a warp scrambler. He came and either he saw that bubble and then stumbled back into it, or more likely he saw a Thrasher and was like, hell yeah, I'll fight that. He came, he started shooting us, got us to half armor, didn't expect our plate. Oh, that went so well. I mean, this is not much of a fit he has here, but it's on about our power level. When I engaged him, I was expecting a fully T2 fit Corax, and honestly, probably that would have destroyed us. I couldn't have scripted that better if I tried. All right, now we need to dock up and repair and drop off our not terribly exciting loot, but I am very happy with that outcome, you guys. Way back in the first solo PvP episode, I said, one of these days, Bill's gonna kill someone who's shooting back at him. And that stiletto didn't shoot at us, but this Corax did. Bill's got his true solo PvP legs now. No one can deny it. Oh, local spike. Malediction. Landed on me. Malediction, let's go. Oh. Frustrating. So they land just barely in the bubble. And if they start immediately aligning back to the other gate, then an interceptor can plausibly warp off before I can finish locking them. I got the lock there, But depending on how things line up with the 1 second server ticks that I was talking about before, it sometimes happens that you'll see the lock pop up in your client, but even if you've pre-activated your modules, by the time the server tries to apply them, the person's already gone. Okay, Iron Man 13. Come, land in my bubble. I've been waiting for you. Iron Man 13 of Peppermint Park. What are you flying? Capsule. That is not especially thrilling, Iron Man. I expected better of you. Okay, this is concerning. So that capsule is staying on D-scan, which means it's at a safe spot because there's nothing else around here. And why would it just sit here if it wasn't scouting? So now we've got eyes just sitting on us. And then this guy flew through in a cheetah. So we have to watch out for combat scanner probes now in case this is the early days of a gate bust. Are you, Zalil, in the same group as either of those two? No, you're in a university. It really feels to me like these three people could easily be working in concert with one another. On the other hand, a heron just showed up on D-scan. So maybe they are all separate from one another. He's landing in my bubble. Go, go, go. Caught a heron. Heron down. Might as well get the pod too. Oh no, he got out. All right, Heron, what do you have for us? Oh! Okay. Okay. Sister's core scanner probes. Such a boon. Then most of these modules are Tech 1, but the scan range finding array is a Tech 1 module that we bought the blueprint for because we wanted to build it before, but it takes more fight. But here's one we didn't have to build. This, killing herons and getting some faction or T2 relevant mods for exploration, was one of the primary things that I was hoping would happen when I started this whole bubble idea here. Exploration ships are frequently traveling unaccompanied and unarmed through Null. They are trivially easy to kill, and most explorers, even if they're quite new to the game, can afford better gear than what we can build for our exploration frigate. This is how we get it. Oh, it's been a long time since we lost that first set of Sisters probes, and I am pretty excited to have a second octet of them. And that range finding array, for example, things like standard sleeper caches, which we haven't been able to scan down before because the signatures are too high level, are now entirely on the menu for us. Drop this stuff off, repair our heat damage, get back to business. Yeah, so there was nothing in this kill mail that actually didn't drop for us that we would have really liked to have. I mean, we got the Sisters Core scanner probes, which were absolutely the prize on this fit. I will note that we screwed up that capture a little bit. We let him drift out of scram range, and then we had to heat our scram and put him back on, and there was about 1 second where he wasn't scrammed. That's definitely the kind of mistake that we shouldn't make, but in this case, it turns out he actually had a warp core stabilizer fit anyways, so the scram wasn't doing any work, assuming he remembered to activate it. It was entirely the bubble that tackled for us. Oh, shoot! I just noticed, holy moly, I just noticed that he jettisoned his cargo just before he died, which is something that people do when they don't want valuable stuff to show up on their kill mail. It's another whoa, okay, wait a second. Just a second. 8 more? Oh, he jettisoned his whole cargo. Mostly data and relic site loot. Zeugma blueprint, which we definitely won't build. Extra large ancillary current router blueprint. Yep, bunch of data and relic site loot. And 8 more Sisters Core scanner probes. Woo! 16. That means something. I almost didn't even notice that cargo container until I was looking to jettison another piece of ammo and was like, why is that one jet can so far away from the rest of them? We are going to be exploring in style 16 Sisters Core scanner probes, a scan range finding array. Man, oh, and that's good too. We still have 4 more kinds of gas to find. We have some exploration ahead of us, that's for sure. It's going to be faster and more efficient. Oh, it's going to be far more enjoyable than it would have been before. Okay, your dad's girlfriend has jumped into system. Member of 3200, jumped around a lot of corpse. What are you flying? What's my dad's girlfriend flying? Come on. Land in the bubble. Come on, be a cheetah. Or be a buzzard. Just appear. Oh, it's a stiletto. And it's been a minute since she jumped into system, so she probably did ping to a safe spot. Yeah, missed the bubble. Very well. Safe travels. Okay, Gothic Mood. What about you? What do you got for me? Are you gonna land in my bubble? Land in my bubble. Gothic Mood. Oh, your dad's girlfriend jumped back into system. That is a little concerning. And Gothic Mood's in the same corp. I do smell a trap here. Okay, the stiletto is burning away from the gate, which almost certainly means it's trying to get distance to warp back to the bubble. So it wants to tackle me, but I'll take the fight. This Thrasher is super replaceable, and if I can get Scram, I can probably kill the stiletto, even if it's armed, before... Okay, burn in, burn in, burn in. Oh, it's already pulling distance. And I'm tackled. Never gonna get within Scram range. I'll heat my MWD. No, it's not going to be enough. Never going to happen. Gothic Mood probably going to land any second in a T3 cruiser. I'm going to try and see if I can't either slingshot him or break point range. He's got a scram too, and he's got a long scram range on the interceptor. That makes sense. Oh, here comes the Demos. Yeah, this is over before it started. I wish I had burned straight at the stiletto as soon as he started turning towards the bubble. Maybe could have landed within 5 if he'd landed within 5 kilometers of me, this would have looked different. But now the Demos is just going to blat me so fast. See if I can get on the kill. Well, see if I can put some damage on him before I die. Nope. Okay. Good fight, guys. Good fight. I knew as soon as that stiletto jumped back into system that this was a trap. And I stayed and let myself get caught in it because I was so eager for that one more kill mail. That's all right, though. We have another Thrasher already cooking. So I know that introducing a dramatic new haircut mid-video is an unconventional planning decision, but nonetheless, here we are, back in KV TAC, setting up yet another warp bubble. That was my fault. Let's see what Tybalt the Thrasher can do if I can avoid getting in a 1v1 with an Executor Navy this time. Well, I've gotten a few comments on YouTube that these decloak cans are considered an exploit, and I was pretty sure that wasn't true, but I went back through all of the documentation and read the forum posts, and now I'm even more sure that's not true. There was a case years ago where groups were anchoring hundreds and hundreds of cans and bubbles around gates in order to make it so that when someone jumped into system, their client lagged out, which gave the attackers time to kill them when they couldn't respond because their client was non-responsive. So that was deemed an exploit, intentionally lagging out someone's client through hundreds and hundreds of jet cans, hundreds of anchored structures, and the people who were doing it were like, oh no, we're not trying to lag their client, we're just doing it for decloak purposes. And CCP was like, no, that doesn't fly. And so a lot of people were like, oh yay, that means people who hate bubbles were like, oh, that means decloak cans are no longer kosher. But in fact, looking back through all of the communications from CCP and all of the forum posts, I'm quite certain that a reasonable number of cans strategically placed to decloak someone at the edge of a bubble is still considered entirely fair game. And these like 5 to 10 jet cans that I am positioning here are not lagging out anyone's client. Now, to this date, so far, we have not yet successfully decloaked anyone with one of these, so it might be a waste of my time, but I have in the past on my main successfully caught covert op ships with this technique, so I'm going to keep doing it. Magicus Rus of Hold My Probes, Scans to Can, a notoriously PvP focused Covops Corp, is in the system and has not appeared on D-Scan, nor has he appeared in my bubble. I'm going to move just out of the bubble, because this seems like the kind of guy who might suddenly show up right on my prow in a Stratios or a Loki. And if he does, I want to be able to warp out to my perch immediately. But I also want to be close by, because it's also quite plausible that he could land right on top of one of my cans in a cheetah. Magicus Rus is still just sitting in system. This guy is giving me serious PvP scout vibes. Metamorphosis is incoming. That has inherent warp stability. Oh, okay. He was smart enough to bypass the bubble. I say the Metamorphosis has the inherent warp stabilization like the Venture, so it takes multiple scrams to hold it down, but they don't inherently have bubble immunity. So if I'd been able to catch him in my bubble, that would have been an amazing kill mail. But someone who's in Scans to Can and flying a Metamorphosis is clever enough not to fall into a small bubble like this one. In fact, I'm sure that he was looking at my kill board and has seen how much bubble camping I've been doing recently, which does make this trap less successful as time goes on. Pretty soon, I'm going to need to start doing something else so that I either die or kill not in bubbles for a little while, and someone looking at my Z kill won't immediately be like, oh, this guy is bubble camping this system over and over again. You always have to be thinking about how much intel your opponents are likely to get on you, whether it's in intel chat channels or via looking at your Z kill or D-scan. As I said, this technique that we're employing here does depend on the element of surprise. Iri Zhurariev. Okay. Newish player, jump through the far gate. We might have an actual chance here. Imicus on D-scan. Land in the bubble, Imicus. Here he is. Come on. Oh yeah, easy game. Imicus down. I'm gonna grab the pod too. Good fight. Nice. All right, let's look at that kill mail. Tech 2 mods. Come on. Tech 1 mods. Bunch of loot. Scan range binding array. Scan range binding array is for sure the gem of this kill mail. I'll take it. Killing the pods doesn't actually do anything for us in terms of we can't ever collect loot from them, but we are killing pods as a default just because there's no reason to leave a set of eyes sitting around in system. If we let them warp off the pod, they can easily sit at a safe or sit in station and be reporting on whether or not we're still here in any of their intel channels. So it's always better to pop that capsule and send the soul inside to some other system. Epithal? Oh, that's surprising. He may have logged in system and just be going to do his PI. No wait, he's warping. He's landing. Hilarious. Epithal completely defenseless against the terror that is Tybalt the Thrasher. Gonna go down nice and fast. Turn off the newt. We can just watch this happen. Goodbye, Epithal. Pod got out. It's too busy taking screenshots. What do you got for me? Oh, look at that! Not only the T2 stabilizers, but a meta damage control. Those have been so hard to find. I am excited about that. Did we miss any good loot? We basically got it all. Why is he warping Epithal's gate to gate? We will never know. 2 kill marks on Tybalt. I'm pretty sure those are the kill marks. It can sometimes be hard to differentiate them from just the lights and details on the model, but those have a very kill marky look to them. I guess we'll have to kill one more ship and see if those 2 go to 3. Nevea. This gate didn't flash. What's your deal, Nevea? CEO of Visari Mining and Industry. And what are you flying? Are you gonna land in the bubble for me? Come on. Time to catch a Covop's cloak. I've been jettisoning all these cans. Time for it to pay off. Falcon. Oh my goodness, I've got a Falcon. Tech 2 Recon. Doesn't really have any armament to speak of. Holy crap. Oh my goodness, I'm trying not to get too caught up in thinking about all the things. He's lighting a Sino. He's lighting a Sino. Trying to scare me off? Oh my goodness, I can't stop shooting this guy just because he's got a Sino lit. Panther. Okay. What's that Panther gonna do? He's got drones. Okay, I've got to get out of here. Oh, frustrating. That was a good catch. That was a good catch. But he has alternate Newt Panther ready to come save him. That was a hard try for a Thrasher. I don't know if I should have taken the moment to reload EMP. His shield was breaking. I stayed on grid way longer than I would have if I was trying at all to save my ship. Once I let that Panther target me, I should have been completely dead, but he didn't have a point or a scram on him. He was purely there. He wasn't trying to kill me. He was just trying to newt me to get his Falcon out safe. Are they going to kill my bubble? That's the question now. I do need to dock up and repair all this damage. So a Sino, we haven't talked about Sinos at all. Some ships, particularly those with covert cloaks, can fit Sinos or covert Sinos, which allow capital ships to jump through from other systems to them at the cost of fuel. The covert Sinos also allow Black Ops battleships to jump through and bridge other things with Covop's cloaks on them through with it. So when you catch something and it lights that beacon that you saw, the cynosural field generator, then anyone who's in their fleet who's within range, which is usually, you know, a couple of dozen systems, can lock onto that Sino, and jump like a Stargate jump all the way straight to that ship, and they land within a kilometer or so. So that's how that Black Ops battleship just appeared right there on grid with me. And he could easily have brought a bunch of Lokis or Tengus or whatever with him and just like completely devastated me, although that would have been overkill for a Thrasher. But that guy didn't really have a fleet of friends. He had a single alt sitting in a Black Ops battleship just ready to save his ass in case he got his Falcon into trouble like that. The Falcon is a T2 recon, a very powerful ship, but its main thing is using ECM. And when you have ECM activated on you, it prevents you from targeting anything but the ship that's ECMing you. So the Falcon is ideally sitting 100 kilometers off from the fight, jamming people out while their friends deal with it. But when your Falcon lands in a bubble and is 1 kilometer away from the DPS, then jamming me doesn't do anything at all. That would have been such a good kill. Been such a good kill. But there's nothing we could have done there. There's no way we could have gotten that kill. Even if I had reloaded to EMP, which I thought of doing during the fight, certainly wouldn't have been enough DPS to actually pop that Falcon before the Panther was able to target us and nuke us out. Good fight. That was fun. Oh, I liked that. I will say that something positive has come away from that whole encounter, which is that you'll notice the Falcon, we didn't see him warp in. He just appeared on grid right here at our jet can spot, because he warped cloaked with his Covops cloak active, got caught in the bubble, and then one of our cans decloaked him. So now we know for a fact that jettisoning these cans in this cluster here around the landing spot is doing exactly what we wanted to do. If that had been a Covops frigate rather than a recon, things would have gone very differently. Also, we can pat ourselves on the back for having gotten out of there with our ship intact. Tybalt the Thrasher, with his 2 kill marks, lives to camp another day. Stainer. I've seen this guy before. He jumped in from this gate, though. We're not going to catch him. Do we have to run from him? What are you flying, Stainer? An Ishkur. That's interesting. We don't want to fight that. He's warped off. We'll have to keep our eyes open for the possibility that he tries to warp back in and take a fight. Ishkur is an assault frigate, bonused for light drones, blasters. There's no way that our Thrasher would be able to kill it. Maybe a T2 fit Thrasher might be able to overwhelm with DPS, but assault frigates are pretty tough. He's coming back. Landing in our bubble on purpose. No thanks. So this Ishkur chased me away from my bubble. He's not killing it. And now someone else jumped into system. And I'm so sure that something amazing is going to land in my bubble. And this Ishkur Stainer is going to get the kill instead of me. I'm aligning back to the bubble just in case a good fight breaks out and I decide to try and crash it. It would be hilarious if another assault frig landed there. 2 of them started duking it out. Tengu. Tengu is decloaked on the Ishkur. What happens next? And the Ishkur runs away. Now that Tengu is probably going to break my bubble. Burst my poor bubble. Oh no, he just left. The Ishkur left his drones behind. I'm not going to allow myself to scoop them. Actually, it's worth talking about with that heron I killed the other day. As he was dying, he jettisoned a cargo container, and I looted it. I let myself loot it after I killed him. This is a little bit of a gray area around my no looting wrecks or containers that I didn't create. If I scare someone away, or if someone leaves grid for any reason and leaves a cargo container or some drones behind, I'm not allowing myself to scoop those. That seems outside the spirit of the challenge. However, if I did fight that Ishkur, if I secured the kill and then he had drones left in space, I would consider that to be part of the loot, just as I considered that jet can dropped by the Heron as being part of the loot from my kill. If I was allowing myself to scoop any old T2 drones that I saw floating around in space, I would have hundreds of them by now. They are constantly abandoned on gates. But I'm only going to let myself do that if there is a kill mail that I achieved that is associated with those drones being there. I think I might need to dock up for a second and let some of the heat dissipate. In fact, I think with all that's happened here in K5 TAC this morning, if I want to keep bubble camping today, I probably should consider moving a couple of jumps to a different system. So many people know that I'm here. Any one of them could come back with a kill squad at any time. It might be wise to move on. So here we are in 3 Kink on the very border of Outer Ring. We've anchored a new bubble and we're just checking to make sure that it is properly positioned to catch us. We're only 2 jumps away from where we were camping before, but we've taken a little bit of a left turn towards Outer Ring, and hopefully this is far enough that whatever intel has gotten out there into the world saying lone Thrasher camping the 8V TAC gate will now not result in a gang immediately coming to kill us. Quiet system. We might have to wait a little while before we find anyone, but I've got all the patience in the world. Yeah. That was not an accident that he landed there. Oh, shoot. Uh-oh. We miscalculated there. Our perch was too close, and we aligned to it, and then we weren't able to warp to it. Oh, another Thrasher down. People, put your perches more than 150 kilometers away from where you're going to warp to them from, so that when you're aligned for a few seconds, you don't find yourself drifting too close to warp out to your perch. We were aligned, but we weren't aligned to anything useful. Good fight. And with Tybalt the Thrasher dead, I don't think I'm going to immediately build and bring another Thrasher out here. Our bubble just got killed. We have a lot of loot we need to move back to Albrez. And we do still have a Cynabal to build. Bonus kill. So a wormhole opened up in Albrez, which led us over here to Caldari High Sec, but there's a low sec system nearby. Oh, there's a venture here. You don't even have a scram. Well, let's see. Venture down. Didn't even scram, just blapped him so fast he couldn't do anything else about it. TAC 1 stuff. Elite PvP.